Hello. Hello, hello. Hi, Martine.
Hi,
Good morning,
Wendy. Hi,
Patricia.
Patricia.
Good morning.
Good morning, good morning. And to everybody that's joining us here, leave us a comment, whether you're joining us on Instagram, whether you're joining us live on YouTube, whether you're joining us over in a Facebook group, no matter where you are joining us from, let us know where you're joining us from and what you do. Give us a shout out so we can say hello to you. Today is all about connection and collaboration and high energy connections and building relationships. So I am Wendy Blumweiss, and you'll see the name down below that's Mindset to Millions. So imagine this is our company, Patricia and myself. Our company is Mindset to Millions. And you can think of the millions being impact and touching a lot of lives to make a significant difference through your message, your voice, your expertise, your passion, all the above. So we look so forward to getting to know each one of you. This is not about us. This is about all of you. And this is about the connectivity of everybody together. That is the really cool thing about this app, is that we can be connected through all different platforms. There are not a lot of people doing it, and this is only our second week, so we're really going to vamp up. We have a group, a community on Facebook of 20,000 members. So we're just going to be inviting our members to come up, and so we can spotlight them. And we'd love to spotlight all of you that are watching, that are engaged, that were with us last week. Let us know so we can connect and we can invite you up and spotlight you as well. So I'm going to turn it over to Patricia. I am here, like, physically right now. I am in North Georgia, but I'm also in South Florida as well. My partner, Patricia, is over on the West Coast of Florida. Welcome, Patricia.
Hi, Wendy. Hi, Dr. Martine. My name's Patricia Wooster, and as Wendy said, we are business partners with Mindset to Millions. And our goal, really, as a company and as a community, is to help people get their expertise out there, monetize it so they can spend more time creating an impact on others. And so part of that process is to start the exposure, and spotlight all of these amazing people we're working with, but also provide you with other resources and other people you can go to when you need them in your business, in your personal or professional life. And that really starts with introducing you to all these amazing people we're working with. So we are so thrilled that Dr. Martine's with us here today. So Dr. Martine, if you could just introduce yourself and also tell us about this new book you just launched.
Well, thank you. Thank you, Patricia and Wendy, for having me here with you. And just like you're saying, collaboration is the key in not only in your business, but personally, to be able to up level yourself, because you can do all the work alone, but as part of the community, you will go further and you will enrich yourself on the journey there. So I am the CEO and founder of Self Care Genius, where we elevate women to have a better, more productive life journey and also elevate their health. And I am so proud to be able to share my message with I call it my powerful little book, Radiant Living, where it is a transformation into a life that you want to have, meaning for you to have a more productive and meaningful life so that you can beat out stress, you can be more energetic, and also you can have a more fulfilling life. So, my book, Radiant Living, is a transformational journey into your life. But also, I support in this book that collaborating and being part of like-minded community is important, because you have the support and you get all the strategies that you need, because you don't know everything and you will never know everything. So put yourself in rooms, in environment where you can get key strategy, key tips, key tools, resources that you need to move further.
That's so amazing. And your book is so incredible. Really urge people to pick it up. It's available on Amazon right now. And tell us a little bit about, your background. So you have this background in nursing, and coming out of COVID, I can imagine that helped sort of motivate you to get this book out sooner. So can you tell us a little bit about how that worked?
Well, Patricia, when I was 16 years old, I witnessed my mother. She had a massive stroke because she was not taking care of herself, and that affected all of our lives, and myself and my two sisters. And since then, I've been on a journey to help others health wise. So I've been in the health industry for over 25 years. And 2, 3 years ago, I realized that I personally was on the same path as my mother, meaning stressed out, overworked, but I was a high achiever, successful professional woman. So here I was, I had a bad headache, and that fear came upon me that I would end up just like her. So since then, I had a mindset shift, and that allowed me to be in this journey, in this path, not only to help myself, but bring the message to others that they need to put themselves first and take care of themselves. Because once you pour in your own cup, then you'll be able to not only pour into others, but serve others better. So this is
You
what I've
know,
been doing. So I wrote the book and I collaborated with you ladies. Remember the book, Becoming You, when I talk about my journey. And that was my first book. And because of you, I was able to share my message. And now here I am, my second book, which I am sharing my journey, and I'm giving strategies and tips in order for you, who are stressed out, overworked, not taking care of yourself, to strategize, plan, and live your best life.
Dr. Martine, what you share, first off, how you had that epiphany, right? You had that wake up moment where you said, not me. I saw what happened to my mom. Unfortunately, all we can do is do better. And then wanting to also inspire other men and women to do the same, to take care of themselves. One of the things I was just reading about, I found interesting, is that healthcare professionals, in particular women, are at the very top of the list of neglecting themselves, like giving their whole life to supporting and helping others at a very difficult time when they're having a health challenge, to be so committed to be of service, and yet at the sacrifice of one's own health. So your message is so needed, so important, because you're leading the charge, healthcare professionals and others that are hearing this message, that are giving themselves so much to their family, their career, climbing the corporate ladder, going the extra mile. We just hear like, work, 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 how many hours do you put in? And it's like a badge of honor to work all those hours and to be so exhausted and to be burnt out. But you are helping, you've created a movement of self-care.
Correct. And it is my mission. And now it's my purpose that I have to share my message anywhere, globally, internationally, locally, anywhere, that to make an impact. Because at the end of the day, we all want to live our best life. And it is your right to live a productive and meaningful life. At the end of your older years, you want to look back and have no regrets, that you able to do whatever you want, whenever you want, however you want it, that you did not lose your independence, you did not lose your power, and you did not lose your voice. So that is why I'm on that mission. And Wendy, if any one of you want to have more practical strategies to put in your life, I have this free guide that I give. It's a 30-day free guide. And if you text the word self to 26786, the word self, SELF, to 26786, I will send you that free guide. It's a 30-day guide with practical strategies each day that you need to implement in your daily life. And it's not going to take you time. It just, sometimes you just step out and do some breathing exercises. to decrease your stress level.
Hmm.
And that can re-energize you to finish the rest of your day. That's one example. But we all need to take our health seriously, because without health, there can be no wealth, no matter how you look at it.
Let's talk about impact for just a minute. So a lot of people that we talk to, they're in a job, they've been working in corporate, getting a paycheck from somebody else, and they want to venture into entrepreneurship. And so I know that you invest in a lot of coaching and mentoring and personal development. How important has that been for you to be able to start doing some of these other things outside of the corporate environment and to start starting to think about monetizing your passion?
Well, just like you said, I've been in corporate for so long, and this is what I'm used to. So now stepping out and taking on a role of business owner, of entrepreneur, this is something that I'm not used to and comfortable with. So I had to go out there and get a trainer, get a mentor, get a coach, anything to build up myself, so that when I come out and start my own business, which I did, that I have the foundation so that I don't run it into the ground. So I needed to surround myself with people that have done it before, that they know how to set up a CRM or set up a StreamYard, for example, so that I can learn, so that I can turn around and then be able to provide the message that I want to. And then I will be able to teach others as well. Because it's not about just me elevating myself. It's about me helping others to elevate themselves too. And Wendy has been into my world for over 10 years, and she has been influencing me to do what I do today. So I'm very grateful to you, Wendy. And Patricia, I've learned from you, from your book. I bought your book, How to Publish a Book. So now here I am, my own book. So.
Yeah, so true. What you're saying is to get the mentors, to get the people, the guides, the coaching, so that you know what path to follow, so you can actually like arrive there. It's one idea that you want to do these things, but if you actually want to write a book, if you actually want to speak on a stage, it's a lot of things you want to do, but you don't actually do it because you don't really have the roadmap, the blueprint to be able to do that. It's such an honor, really, Martine, to have seen you all these years. We both come from the healthcare profession, and it is a lot of burnout, but it's burnout in every profession, really, because of how much striving there is in mental health. And all the importance of getting the mindset that you can do it, and to be able back, because you're still working in corporate. So you're still putting in all those hours. So you can't say that I got to wait till I retire. I got to wait to down the road. You can do it. You can start out as a side hustle. And I've watched you for 10 years just come to events and things that I was producing, and then get really involved in community and continue to grow. And you've done it, and you're doing it. And so share your journey of speaking, because love that you now are stepping in to be a professional speaking, because a lot of people can't see themselves. Where has that play a role for you on your new journey?
Well, I realized early on that if I needed to share my message, I needed to open my mouth and speak. So there's no way that I can do that without speaking. So this is another skill that I'm currently learning. I put myself in front of audiences, but it is a skill that I will continuously practice, because if you want to get better at any skill, you have to keep on learning that skill. You have to put yourself in an environment. You have to hire coaches. You have to be in community of like-minded people that want to practice speaking. So you always, and what I learned is that I have to get over my comfort zone, out of my comfort zone, and get in front of the audience. And this is a fear that I had, but I have to do it in order to share my message.
You're an incredible role model. I'm going to ask if and you're traveling now and you're at an event, you're doing all these things.
Yes.
When you sign off, if you'll go ahead and leave that code for people to get your free downloadable guide and anything else that you want to share in the comment section. And for those that are watching on all the multiple channels, if you produce events, if you host summits, virtual events, live events, Dr. Martine is an incredible powerhouse speaker, and for sure, jump over to Amazon and get her book as well. Thank you so much for taking the time to be
Thank
here
Thank
with
you.
us.
you.
For both of you, thank you.
Okay, locking arms. Stay with us if you can. We know you are traveling, so you have to sign off, but we're going to bring Lynn up. But feel free to go anytime because you have to check out of your room.
Thank you. Yes, I do.
Okay, thanks for being here. Hi, Lynn.
Hi, Lynn.
Hi. Hi, Wendy. Hi, Patricia. How are you?
Hi, Lynn.
Hi, Dr. Martine. Oh, you're such an inspiration. I really enjoyed your discussion.
You know, you both parallel working in industries that serve people. So you are in a giving, making a difference industry professionally, but you also have gone the extra mile to put in the work to share your message on a bigger stage. So through a book and becoming a speaker, you have followed that same path, Lynn. So can you talk a little bit about, well, first we'd love to have you introduce yourself, and then also about your journey of writing your first book and then your second book with us and what's happening for you in the future.
Well, okay. So, Lynn Robin, and I've known Wendy over a decade, right? It's over a decade. And talking about myself, you're so good at introducing me. Why don't you start that and then I'll go from there.
Well, you know, Lynn, I always knew you as a health advocate.
Yes.
And we met, I think probably the first time we met is you came to one of my 3-day retreats. I think that you came, somebody brought you, and it was a 3-day retreat and you were there. And then we connected because you were so committed to impact and making a difference in the world. And you work with people at the end of their lives or to plan for the end of their life. And a lot of people, that's a very tough, hard conversation to have because a lot of people want to put those kinds of things off. But you are
Right.
someone that really helps them do the planning and cremation planning and just planning and really stepping into the space so that your wishes are fulfilled for that time in your life and that your family, that you have consideration for your whole family as well. So when I saw you as a human being, just how generous, gentle, compassionate, you have so much empathy for people because it's a very sensitive conversation. So that's your profession. You take people, you hold their hands and you walk them through that whole process. And you've even done it for me, right? Because nobody wants to leave a burden on their family when they go.
Exactly.
And that being said, though, I've also seen you be involved in so many other projects. And one of them has been writing. Like you've wanted to share your message and you've wanted to write a book. And then you did. You actually wrote a book, and you wrote a book during COVID, and you wrote a book on your own. So can you take us on your journey of book writing, that first book, and then the second book, Becoming You, that you did with us, and where you're headed in the future?
Yeah. So I've been doing my work for about 17 years now. And during the pandemic, I took the time to really think about putting all my thoughts down on paper, blank pages, with no direction from anyone. It was all heartfelt stories and all kinds of jokes from my clients. And I wanted to really to put together a help guide for people because it really is it's a fragile business, and a lot of people just don't know where to turn. Or I thought if I could help one person and a story could resonate with them, it would be worth putting the whole project together. So This story is really funny, but I was helping some clients and we were going through all the paperwork, logistics that we have to go through. And at the end, I said, "You guys, you're good to go." And then we just giggled around the table because they're like, "Oh, we can actually pass away now." I'm like, oh, we were just like giggling. And I just thought when I went into my car, I said, "Oh my God, that's such a great name for a book." So there you have it. I went to work with that name, You're Good to Go. And I published it, I self-published it on Amazon. And it's full of a lot of good information and guidance for people that need that kind of help in this fragile industry that we're discussing. So, and then when you had brought up that you were coming out with another book called Becoming You, I really wanted to jump in and be a part of that and share my story in that book, which I'm so excited that that happened. It was just such a blessing that I could be a part of that and collaborate with all of you. It was just an amazing experience. And the speaking, I'm not a speaker, but it really helped me to get over my shyness, being up there a few times on stage and getting my story out, which is important. A lot of people need to know and hear, you know, how I can help them. A lot of people, like you said, they don't want to think about this subject matter. It's very, very, people push this subject under the carpet. They just don't want to face it and deal with it. But it has to be, it has to be heard.
Well,
So
one thing you said, Lynn, is you said you weren't a speaker. And what's funny about that is I sent an email out to some people on my email list the other day. And I also recorded a video, it hasn't gone up yet, saying I'm not a speaker because that's what I've always said. But yet I've been in panels and we communicate our message every day and we speak on social media and podcasts. And like here right now, you're speaking to, I don't know, 6 of our audiences across 6 platforms or so. And so there's this kind of idea that we build up about not being a speaker, but you actually are a speaker because you're actually communicating and bringing levity to something that, like you said, is such a fragile conversation. And oftentimes, I'm assuming you're brought in when people are experiencing some of the most difficult moments of their lives. And so, how do you, because we do find there's a lot of people that go into business where they are helping people through delicate times or helping them navigate something, is how do you personally take care of yourself after caring for so many people so that you can bring that same energy to every interaction that you have?
So I have a pretty strong protocol of taking care of myself day to day. I really think that starting with meditation every day is very helpful. It really sets the tone of my day. So I always have at least the minimum of 10-minute meditation routine that I do. And then afterwards, I'm jumping on my bike or taking a walk on the beach. I have to connect with nature so that I have that beautiful energy and positivity coming into my day. And I do this day to day. I mean, it's just like brushing my teeth. It's something I do every day and implement it. It's changed my life the way I decide, that I have all these things that I do, on a regular basis. So, and at night I love to sing. So I'm putting myself in front of audiences and gaining my confidence that way with different restaurants. And that's been a blast.
That's phenomenal. And I think, what's interesting, all these practices you're talking about is you feel like it's something you're giving to yourself, but it's actually what you give to your clients and everyone else that you interact with. Because if you're calm and you're centered and focused and your energy is high, then that impacts everyone around you, And so I think sometimes people say, I don't have time to do those things for myself because they're hustling. And then what they don't realize is they bring that hustle and heaviness, right back into their business, which is the opposite of where they want it to be. And so I love that not only you have the practices, but that you've brought in these like hobbies and things that you're doing. And especially the singing. I mean, to me, like, you want to talk about speaking, like that's so amazing. Like because it's the fear, I think, for speakers is all the same. It's what if I get in front of people, right? And I screw up or they're not paying attention or I do whatever, right? And so stepping on any stage is really you know, taking on that fear and facing that fear. So I think that's absolutely incredible.
Yeah, I'm the opposite. Like I don't have fear in front of people singing. I have a little bit more nervousness in front, just speaking.
Well, your story's incredible. And I
Thank
remember
you.
when you told me the title of your book, I thought that was like genius. And I mean, the fact of the matter is we're all going to end life at some point, right? It's going to happen to everyone. And so I think the way that you navigate these conversations on the front end before they even need you necessarily at the end, but so that people can start to get that comfort level about what's coming next for them and their loved ones is really what opens the door to having all of these great conversations. And so we just appreciate so much what you do. And we're always so thrilled to be with you and to spotlight you and give you
Thank
all the
you.
love and attention, because what you do is what a lot of people aren't willing to do, but what that we really need. So thank you.
You're
And I
welcome.
just want
Thank
to
you.
say to anybody that's watching, like right now, to get on a phone, get to meet all these amazing people. Like reach out to Lynn. Like I'm tagging Dr. Martine and the chat. If you see, I look down for a moment because it's really about like getting outside of yourself. It's so easy to like just kind of have blinders on and go forward. But if you think of the big scope, everything that we want is on the other side of a tribe, of a community. That has been something that is so important to Patricia and I. We have an academy. We actually meet today. We meet after this call. We meet every Thursday. We bring in different topics. This past month, we've been teaching public speaking. The month before is writing your book, because you can't do these things alone. And I always like to talk about this philosophy too, of thinking about it's not sales. It's like you don't think about like getting somebody's business card. You don't think about selling them. You think, who can I serve? What can I share? How can I make a bigger difference in the world? So if you're listening and you're the kind of person that resonates with, we want to know you. We want to invite you in our community. We want to invite you to come up and we'll spotlight you here on our live streams. Our heart, you know, a lot of times we're like in our thinking mind all the time, thinking of all the things we have to do. If we could just take a pause and think, like when we walk in a room, now just pretend we're actually physically in a room together, how much energy, how much vibration, right, would be in that room. The virtual space is like that today, right? So you are actually meeting Lynn right now. She is connected to you. You're connected to her. And just knowing the synergies, I'm just going to share this really quick story and then we're going to bring Suzette up. But you never know a golden opportunity. So I'm going to share something that happened and I've been talking about this morning. But I was walking with a very good friend of mine who happens to also be a co-author on one of our books. Her name is Rachel Levy. And we ran into somebody. But instead of like, you know, like, hey, nice to meet you, whatever, you know, I took a picture. She had her cat in her stroller. I thought it was kind of cool. I never saw a cat in a stroller before. And I went to send it to my husband and we connected. And lo and behold, she started to tell Rachel that when she retires, she's going to move up to the North Georgia mountains, that she had just bought a house. I'm like, oh, that's so cool. Tell me more. And then she said she put on an Airbnb. Lo and behold, okay, we rented the house. We went up and stayed for 2 days. Everything's about everything that you want comes through people. So this past week in that town, in the same area where she bought, we bought. We went up and we rented her Airbnb. Everything that you want happens by a chance meeting. It happens by a connection. There is someone here right now that you're hearing the message, and that person either is going to become, they could become a collaborative partner. Patricia and I met online virtually, right? So Lynn and I met in person at an event, right? So you don't know who's going to become a collaboration partner with you, who you're going to learn from. They're going to teach you some new skill that's going to completely change your life, like writing a book, or they're going to become your best friend, like Rachel, who I met at an event, and then I asked her to come teach and speak at all my events. You never, never, never know. So when you're lightly scrolling through social media and you're going like, oh, that's very cool, or that's like very boring, like go deeper. Like we can go wide and everybody is thinking about like how many people you can reach. But if you take the group, because we're a small group here today, right? But that's how it all starts. You can build a community of 20,000, like, it starts with 5 people, starts with 2 people, just making a decision. But reach out, like really say, like, let me think where we can collaborate. Let me see how I can serve. Let me see who I can connect that person to. Let me see who I can introduce Lynn to. Let me see who I can introduce Martine to. So I just throw that because I'm so passionate about it. I was the girl that was the introvert that really did not like networking. I thought it was really super icky. And I love it because it really unleashes human potential. So that's me, like when I'm so passionate about like what I'm hearing, with you taking your time and investing and knowing just what an amazing human being. You're a humanitarian, right? That's the kind of person that you want to do business with. And that's also the kind of person you want in your life. So thank you so much, Lynn, for being here today.
Oh, thank you for having me, both of you. Thanks.
Thank you. We're going to get ready to bring Suzette up. Okay. Hi, Suzette.
Hi, good morning.
Suzette.
Good morning. How are you guys?
Excellent. So great to have you here. And I mean, you can tell how passionate I am about this because networking sounds boring. It sounds cliche. It sounds like, okay, another live stream. But what we're doing here with Mindset to Millions is so much more than that. It is really about awakening and sharing people that are focused on impact and making a difference in the world. And that's really what we're crying for. That's what the world needs to grow your business, to grow your monetization, and to grow you as a person. And so that you can wake up and feel alive. And you're that person, Suzette, that I've known for a decade plus, that you've always been involved with charitable organizations. You've always been about service, helping young girls, helping moms, women. You have been about contribution and collaboration, might I say. You're like the first, to put your hand out and say, how can I help and how can I support? So I want to pass it over to you. Anything else that you want to add in your introduction? But thank you so much for taking the time for being here today.
Of course, I'm honored. I'm really excited. And I love what you're saying about networking and how we're craving deeper connection. And this conversation has come up in so many different networking events that we're not there to drive business and just exchange, business cards and the usual stuff that I used to come up on networking events and I'd be like, ugh, not another one. But I'm finding and I'm feeling the shift in deeper conversations, collaborations that mean something, and being able to work with people. I met some people last night, actually through our friend Lauren. I met her boys last night and we had one of the most amazing conversations. And something I've always been really passionate about is veterans and the issues that they face coming out of the armed forces, whether it's Marines, Army, whatever, and how they transition back into civilian life. And it's really challenging. And it's heartbreaking to me that we lose more service members through suicide than we do through active duty right now. But just through the conversation with them and the things that came up, I've been up since 5 this morning because my brain is just cycling through all the things, but that's how it happens. You open yourself up to these conversations and you talk to people and you listen and you ask questions and you get curious. And one of the things, I think Adam said last night, he's he just values creativity so much. I mean, not creativity, sorry, curiosity. And when we're curious about people and we ask questions and we talk to them, it just it drives such a deeper connection. And that's something that I I'm all about, I love it. I love talking to people. I love asking people questions. And like you said, like I love to serve, and it makes it challenging sometimes being in the where my business is serving, because I just want to love on people. And like, so, that presents some of its own challenges, but I love the community that you and Patricia have created, because it's just opened so many doors and so many spaces.
Well, it's really where innovation comes from, right? Is when we're curious or we're collaborating with other people. When we're like in a tunnel, we only know what we know. We don't know what else is out there. And so I'm really curious, because I know, Suzette, like you're a planner, but you're also like creative, and you just spent the summer like living somewhere else and kind of just getting out of, your normal routine. Is like, what are you really excited about, like for the rest of the year, starting 2025? Like, what's something that you're really going to dig into and try to spend more time doing?
Part of what I connected to over the summer, and the reason that I kind of broke that cycle, is for my own creativity. But what I connected to is I've really been holding myself back. I've had, fear comes up, all of the things. And I've had this story that all the technology, all of the things that you have to do was just really overwhelming. And I allowed that story that I was telling myself around all of that to keep me small. I have this amazing group program that I want to launch, and I haven't launched it because I keep telling myself this, well, I don't know how to make all the pieces come together. And, so my commitment to myself for the fourth quarter, the last quarter of the year, is I have a list of a few things that I want to get done and out there by January 2025. And, Martine was saying a few minutes ago, like, you have to use your voice. And I'm so passionate about women and girls and confidence and grace and believing and loving ourselves. But if I'm not talking to anybody about it, I mean, it's not helping anybody. So my commitment to myself for the rest of 2024 is to start to use my voice and to speak and to bring to life all of these ideas that I have, which, being in the second book, The Becoming You, the collaborative book, was really amazing and gave me a taste of what that world is like. And now I know, like, I have in my mind the outline. Now I want to do my full book and tell my full story. Well, but that's going to be 2025.
Yeah. Well, what's interesting is, so I've been coaching people for the last 15 years, and most of my, especially early days, was corporate people who had a passion or they want to use their expertise in a new way. And so they always thought like the big decision was making, leaving corporate and going out into the work. But what happens is when we're really passionate about something, we really want to get out there and create an impact, is we get caught up in the tech and admin piece, because especially if you're from corporate, you have people that do that. They have job titles that align with those things that you need. And then when you get out on your own, it's like learning management systems and CRM, and how do I do a webinar and a landing page and sales and all these things that in our head, either we don't have the skill set or we think are icky, or they just remove us from creating an impact. And so a lot of these people actually end up either with products and programs that aren't launched, or back at corporate because they think it's easier. And so, that's one thing Wendy and I have really been working hard, is when we're very intentionally putting our business together so that somebody could kind of jump into a one person, high impact, low overhead business and spend more time doing what they love and less time on these other little like nits and pieces. And one of the things that you've brought up, and I know that you've been doing, because I watch you online and I know some of these organizations you're involved in, is a way, like when people say they don't like sales, is you just go out and serve. You just go out and meet people and collaborate and listen to their stories and all these different things. Is that will turn, those relationships will turn into sales, because when they need something, they'll think of you. And so I really like this idea of you going out there and having more conversations and talking to more people. And I see you showing up more in places. And so can you tell us a little bit about, I know you're doing some writing for a publication now, and what that is, where people can find it, and how that kind of fits into what you're doing?
Yeah. So, and I connected to Alicia from the Los Angeles Tribune at your event last April, and we got to talking, and the opportunity came up, and I'm now writing a 12-month series for the Los Angeles Tribune. The article comes out monthly. I've had 2 come out so far, and I can, the link is kind of long, so I can share it with you guys if you want to put it out there.
Will you post it in the comment over in LinkedIn and on the other channels? Great.
Perfect. So the series came together on an idea that I had, and I think I've talked to you about this, Wendy, a little bit. It's about our inner rebel and that voice inside of us that we're taught to believe that the rebel is the disruptor. And I think as women, especially, we're kind of told to ignore that and not pay attention to it. But I found for myself, going through my healing and recovery and all of that, that she was the voice of truth. She was the voice of reason. She was the voice that fought against me conforming and being a version of myself that was pleasing for everybody else, but creating struggle in my own life because it wasn't my identity. So the article series is about our inner rebel and her story and how we embrace her and honor her. And I'm really, really excited about it. I mean, it's coming together so beautifully and so authentically. And, one of the things I talk a lot about too when I coach, and this is sort of how the inner rebel thing came up, is, we get kind of stuck in where we are today, and we're looking ahead at all the things that we want to do. And we tend to beat ourselves up because we're not where we want to be, but we forget how far we've come and what we've done and what we've overcome and how we've done that. And I have a really cool, and it's a freebie that I'm putting out that basically helps you kind of go back and sort of dig through and archive, like in your past, like, where you've been successful, how you were successful, what you found within when you dug deep and overcame those things. Because when we take those things out and we inventory them and we look at them, we're like, oh, wow. Like, I've done a lot. Like, I'm a badass. Like, why am I holding myself back? This is really cool. And, we minimize what we've done because we're always so busy looking forward.
Absolutely. No, I think that's so true. And it's because, and then if you do that, you can imprint the celebration part, the accomplishment, versus we tend to imprint or go in our head the things that haven't happened, the things we haven't done, things we should be doing, what everyone else around us is doing. And we will run that on a loop in our heads. Yet, of course, it looks like I'm going, but we'll run that on a loop in our heads versus running the loop of, wow, I did this, I did that. I'm amazing, and Wendy has this great practice she does before she goes on stage, right? Is she goes in there and she psychs herself up and reminds herself of who she is so that she can bring that energy into the room. And so I think that is really valuable exercise. We'd love for you to share that as well once that's available so that people can download and get access to that as well.
Yeah, I'll put that in there. It's ready to go. But
go ahead and add that link or the link to your different social platforms, to your website. And if you're watching and listening, again, it's 1 + 1 equals not 2. It can equal 1,000, right? So you never know, and you don't know what you don't know. And you're actually literally meeting new people. Like now you feel like you have a glimpse into, now Suzette's heart, just how gigantic and how articulate and giving she is. And so Suzette, truly. And it really is like when we see somebody, we're like, okay, if like for me, I never would have imagined I'd be a speaker. You said psych myself up to get on stage. And I think a lot of us here watching or have been on today, couldn't imagine being a speaker, but your message is so big that your message is bigger than your fear.
Right.
And that's what it is. That because if you're thinking like, let me get up there and let me share a message and everybody's going to applaud or all that, like forget about it, right? But if you get beyond yourself and into your heart and into more humanity, I know it sounds like so cliche, but it's so true. Then you can't not do it because it's a calling.
Right.
And even if there are people that don't like you, I actually want to celebrate this. I got my first hate mail yesterday. Like really, like what they wrote was just like, wow. And a lot of people, like, you're not for everybody, and that's okay. And you want people to say, okay, you repel those people, or, oh, those people are like, I really resonate with the message. And I think that holds a lot of people back, for the fear of judgment and a fear of imperfection, because we're all like, buttoned up saying, what if I say the wrong thing, or I look the wrong way, or all those kind of things. So I think it felt kind of good. Just get that out of the way, like get that and say, okay, all right, that was it. That was the stage.
And you didn't die. Like nothing happened. Like you didn't, and that's the thing. Like we're not for everybody. There's people out there that I see that trigger me. I mean, I would never dream of going so far as to sending them an email about it, but like we're all that way. We have things we like, we have things we don't like. And but yeah, like that fear and not allowing it to trigger you, and not allowing it to knock you off of your mission, because you don't know who's out there who needs to hear what you have to say.
Millions of people need to hear your voice. Millions of people need to hear your message. Millions and millions of people need to hear your story. And if just one person, it makes a difference in their life, then it makes it all worthwhile. Thank you so much for being here. We hope we're going to see you at the Academy at 12 o'clock.
Yeah, no, I'll be there for sure.
We'll go right over to the Academy. So thank you so much. We wasn't sure whether Melvina was going to make it, but she made it. So I'm going to go ahead and bring Melvina up.
Awesome. All right, guys, I'll see you at noon.
See you there. Right. See you.
Bye.
Hello, ladies.
Okay, let's see. 1 second. I'm going to invite you back up. There we go.
There we go.
Yay. Bonjour. So happy to be here.
You look like you're in Paris.
You look like Emily in Paris. That's what you look like.
Everywhere I go.
You're so interesting. You're so interesting, Melvina, because you are a global citizen. You're from Poland. You run retreats and groups and spend a lot of time in Paris and in Europe. And then you're here in the United States. And you are really touching the lives of women that are leaders and that want more, and to allow and direct them, guide them into thinking that into quantum thinking, quantum possibilities. So we'd love to have you introduce yourself.
Absolutely. So I'm Malvina Messler, and I'm a public speaker, leadership coach, and best-selling author now with the Becoming You book, thanks to your help, Wendy and Patricia. And yes, I'm a quantum success coach, which means that high-achieving women hire me to break the ceiling of their success and really live authentically and do more with less. Because the hustle era is over. We don't have to be on the hamster wheel of life. I used to subscribe to that, but no more. And so now I focus on helping women live authentically, redefine success for themselves, and really activate those quantum opportunities that can lead us to more impact, more financial freedom, more happiness, joy, and certainly more fulfillment.
Well, you're always up. I've never seen you not happy and joyful. Even your social media feeds are like so fun. Like you just kind of want to jump in and be wherever you're at. And so the question I have is, you mentioned hustle culture. How did your business change once you stopped the hustle? What happened to your business? Because I think people are really scared about that. They know they're not supposed to do it, but it's like they're kind of scared to step back from that.
Yes. And, I was one of those women too, because I was born into this traditional business model where I was going to, B&I meetings and pounding the pavement, so to speak. And in fact, as a traditional business coach back in the days, I used to teach people how to do this. So I was part of a problem too. And then I realized there is a better way. And yet, when I even started my own business, some of that conditioning was coming in, and I felt like I have to just do more and longer hours. It was fulfilling jobs. So I was kidding myself at like, oh, as long as I'm in my purpose, it's okay to work so long and so hard. And then I realized, oh my gosh, what am I doing? There is a better way. And so at first, I will say, even when I started my coaching business, there was a moment where I caught myself. I was just totally heading for burnout. And I actually hired a VA agency. I hired additional vendors for marketing to ease some of the burden. And what it turned into was actually more work for me. And I was just finding myself tired, exhausted, and I was making those sacrifices, like no more going to the gym, eating fast because I was busy. The business needed me. And it was just a wake-up call. What are you doing? There's a better way. And so when I literally fired that agency and stopped the hustle and just kind of gave myself the space. So it was a reset for about a month. And imagine, like, miracle things started happening. I literally started getting phone calls, referrals, and appointments from soul-aligned clients when I focused on my energy again. So it always goes back to that quantum answer, which is our energy is everything, because we don't get in life what we want, we get what we are energetic match to. And from the hustle and fear and anxiety, we're not a vibrational match for those most awesome opportunities, not only financially, but just things that will be expanding us and creating a bigger impact.
Wow.
You bring in a really important conversation that has been taboo. I mean, it's really been kind of a secret conversation going on between people, like not wanting to expose how they are feeling, and to talk about things like energy, and to know that it's okay to talk about it, because you work with corporate women, you also work with entrepreneurs, but you work with women that are still working in that environment, but giving them the tools so that they can still thrive and still work for a company and do really well, or decide to exit and go out on their own and then fully embrace, like, being the CEO of your own company and your own life. So how do you differentiate the difference between the two? Like, who do you find, who do you serve more? Like, where is the gap that you see between the two worlds?
I think I'm in an interesting space because I come from that traditional business world. And I was a co-founder of a national franchise brand that I grew to 35 locations with my partners. And I was very involved in chambers of commerce. So I very much understand that world. Mm-hmm. And I think, I find myself to be in that space of really connecting both worlds, because the people who already understand that there is a different way, and there is a modern way and conscious way of doing entrepreneurship, more healthy and balanced way, they will find me. But I also find that sometimes I'm like this beacon of hope for those who have never been introduced to this. And sometimes it's too shocking of a revelation for them, and they might need more time to even have a call with me. And other times, something inside of them tells them, oh my gosh, you are the answer I was looking for. So I feel like we are all connected to and want to birth our purpose and live authentically. And so anytime a person who might not be really living life like this meets another person like myself who sheds the light, we tend to want that because it's authentic, because it's heartfelt and purpose driven. So why wouldn't we?
When you bring women to Paris, like it could look like, oh, it's like a fancy trip to Paris, but yours is not that at all. Yours is a deep dive into growing and stepping into the next level identity. Can you talk about that?
Yes, and Paris is really something that made a difference for me, because when I was a VP of sales and for a technology company, and I had the right title and employee perks and the pay, but I wasn't fulfilled, I took myself to Paris. And it was this unreasonable trip. It was definitely financially out there because it's not a cheap place to travel. And I took myself for this solo trip because I felt like it was pulling me towards Paris. And when I did that, I gave myself that gift of the time with myself. Not only I reconnected with myself, but I was in this inspiring environment. I mean, Paris is all about abundance. There is beauty, there is music, there is incredible food. And Parisians and people in Europe are very self-expressed through their clothes, and everyone is just themselves. So that really ignited some spark in me, gave me clarity. And when I returned, I made a bold move of quitting my 6-figure job and launching my business. And so now I want to take women to Paris so they can tap into this vortex of this incredible energy. They can step away from their routine and really get clear on who they are. And so that's really what the journey is about. We do fabulous things like a perfumer's workshop and the incredible glam photo shoot. But most importantly, we're taking a journey of self-discovery, healing, self-acceptance, and finding ourselves back. So when we return home, we can step boldly and confidently into our next chapter.
I love how you started the journey by giving a gift to yourself, and now you help others duplicate that. And so I think it's evident just following you and watching, because you heavily document these trips, right? And so we can see them unfold, this journey they're taking along the way, and almost put ourselves there. And so because you are, you're active on social media, and I would assume these groups, when they travel, they get really close to each other as well. What is the role of community and collaboration for you and in your business?
Oh, you use those keywords for what I call feminine leadership. I speak a lot about that because in business, a lot of successful women, and me included, we believed that the success can be only reached through traditional masculine energy of doing and hustling and so forth. And so what you're talking about, the collaboration, the community, the creativity, and all of that is really this divine feminine essence. And when we embrace it, magic happens. So you're right. The retreat, the word retreat, is really a sacred space to me. So it is traveling with intention, but it's beyond that. We are creating this energetic vortex where we are sharing the same intention. We can be vulnerable together. And for successful women to be able to have a space to be vulnerable and space where they can authentically share, that's not easy to find because we're expected to know it all, to always be perfect, to just figure it out. So I think this is really the power of that container.
It's amazing.
Yeah, so great. Just so great. Oh, and look at this. We were able to get you on today. Look how that all came into place, and we're rolling right into our Academy call. So we hope that we're going to see you over there.
Yes,
We roll from networking here, and then we're networking over there as well. So for those that are watching or listening today, you absolutely want to connect with Melvina. Melvina, will you put your social links? They're a free gift. So people can connect with you. Really amazing. Thank you. Thank you always.
Thank
You're
you
a
so
powerhouse speaker. So if you're looking for a dynamic, engaging speaker, Malvina is your girl. She is the one. So, so it's just been great being here. This is only week 2. So we're just figuring it out. Like we're figuring out, we're live streaming both on my channels, on Patricia's channels, and really being able to bring people up, bring people from our community, to bring new people up, to really grow as far as that, a really engaged community, knowing that 1 + 1 equals infinity. So the sky is the limit. So thank you so much, Malvina. Lynn,
Thank
you've been
you,
staying with
Malvina.
us in the listening lounge too. And for those of you that have joined us over live stream or watching the replay. So we will be back again. We are doing this every Thursday, 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Been
for
awesome.
having me.